What's up, everybody? Once again, it's Brand Man Sean, and I have something that's extremely important to talk about when it comes to building a massive music network. But first, let me start off with a little story. Now, I was working on something in a startup incubator tech type environment, and I came across this guy who worked as somewhat of a mentor. And this guy's complete background was in health sales. Technology that might help you with cancer or hip replacements. That background completely, that's all he had. And he was helping me with some of the things in the tech side of things. But as we talked, he realized that I was working on things in the music industry as well. And turns out this guy had some pretty strong connections in music. One of his best friends for a good amount of time was the manager of a pretty huge artist who also manages some other artists as well. That guy also invited me to his house to watch a basketball game one day. And then when we were over there, over came some guy who lived in this neighborhood that was like a beast in terms of financial tech. I don't know much about that world, but apparently this guy was like the top of top guys. Another guy had been his friend for like 10, 20 years. They had went to college together, and that guy had been a rookie of the year in football, had a pretty decent career in the NFL. And then another guy that came over who lived in the neighborhood, and they were kind of more so developing their friendship, knew each other for a couple of years, happened to be a pretty big time movie and TV producer. As a matter of fact, I had been talking about a TV show that guy had coming out the day before, but I had no idea who was like the producer or anything behind it. Now, why am I bringing this story up in the first place? It's for the simple fact that you have to start to rethink connections. As you start to move up in the industry, you'll really find a lot more leverage coming from outside of the industry as well. As a matter of fact, you don't have to wait till you get to a certain level to do this. You can do this from the very beginning. There's people that aren't necessarily directly involved in music that have so many connections in music. And those people might be able to get you connections that you would have never even thought you could have being in the music industry. This one guy could have got me into several different industries. I know a girl whose mom has a really good friend that's an accountant for so many people in the entertainment industry. And that girl got into so many rooms. The stuff that she was able to make happen in a short period of time was ridiculous. I mean, she's been in some huge rooms, working with big budgets, all behind the scenes. Really doesn't have the background or the credibility to be able to do so, but she knew an accountant. All these people trust the accountant because that person's managing the money for all sorts of entertainers, actors, just regular business people. That person is a plug. This can be an advantage in a lot of situations. People don't realize is when you're in the industry, it's highly competitive. People are always watching their backs. They're trying to figure out who's doing what, and then they're also trying to rise up themselves. But when you go outside of that industry, most times people aren't as threatened because they don't want the same thing that you want. If you're working with a YouTuber, they don't necessarily care if your song is better than theirs because they probably don't even have a song, but if they do, that's not their main bread and butter. And this goes for artists, managers, producers, whatever your role is. So when you're building connections, spend some time also outside of chasing these industry events within music and looking within other industries, because you might get introduced to people who know some other people. Move in that world using the same things that you use in music in the other worlds. This one paradigm shift in how you think is going to change how you use the information you learn in this course, the information you get out of Master Music Networking Guide. It's going to make you far more effective in how you build relationships and put you in a stronger position of power in the long run. And especially for independent artists, a lot of times this is how you're going to get things like sponsorships and a lot of opportunities, because there isn't a formal way. If you don't have a label who already has these relationships with Coca-Cola or some other type of company that might put you in a position to get a sponsorship, you're gonna have to do it your own way. A perfect example is a label, group, management company, whatever you want to call it, that's come up in my area recently was able to put out a shoe. They got a shoe deal. But if you really look at the connections, one of the people who runs the group is very close friends with a girl who actually used to work at that shoe company. She's in the music industry now, but because she spent time in that shoe company, she has all types of connections at that shoe company. So down the line, when this group gets themselves at a position of leverage and they already have this connection with this girl who used to work at that shoe company because she still has connections at that shoe company. Opportunities exist that would not be able to exist for other people. And it's something that happens a lot more organically. Reaching out to the marketing lead at a big company before they reach out to you, a lot of times it's going to be a hard way to actually get some kind of sponsorship or partnership. Point is, you have to be able to rethink how you look at connections and understand every single opportunity can get you to another opportunity. This is one of the most important things because it's going to inform how you apply all the information that you learn. Connection can come from so many different directions, and you benefit yourself by not spending all of your time within the music industry because you're not going to have any leverage that comes from different sources available in other industries. If you're fighting for those same resources that everybody else within the industry is fighting for, most of the times the winners are going to be the people who have an advantage on you, whether that's money or pre-established music industry connections and things like that. Spend your time in the music industry, but every once in a while go outside of that and start to just meet people, cool people, and develop real relationships that might even be able to double back and benefit you in the music industry, or they might be able to introduce you to sponsorship scenarios and things like that, which is far more important for an artist, particularly an independent artist, independent producer, a young manager or a record label trying to build up their own connections, because at the end of the day, this is where the money's gonna come from. And you guys that are more independent need more connections and stronger foundational support than anybody at a label. And that's it for now. Other than that though, hey, if you like this video, go ahead, hit that like button. If you like it, you might as well share it. And if you're not subscribed, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe.